Over the last few years, Star Wars has become infected with people getting stabbed by lightsabers and just walking it off. But they just don't only walk it off, but they survive without significant ramifications on the story and manage to recover in a few days, if not a few hours. However, I'm here to prove without much effort, mind you, that yes, impalement by lightsaber would not only kill you, but that if you actually did manage to survive, it would take far more than a few hours to recover, and you would almost certainly be crippled.
It's treason, then.
Round 1. Fight!
Jin, no!
Stinking Jedi!
Hole in one!
Finish him!
What's up, internet? Jojo here, and I'm tired of people not using their brains and thinking about this stuff. Ever since Disney took over Star Wars, lightsabers have seemingly drastically lost any and all threat to them. I mean, we all remember the good times of decapitations, dismemberment, murder, slicing people up. Oh, those were the best of times. But the worst of times came. The dark times when a global power took the legends that had been made and built up across decades and unmade them. The Force, once an exclusive responsibility reserved for only a select few through their many years of training to master it, became available for everybody. The characters of the legendary Harrison Ford reduced to miserable deadbeats 3 different times in the characters of Indiana Jones, Rick Deckard, and Han Solo. Finally, the once magical lightsaber became nothing more than a glowing sword. A blade that holds the legacy of one of the greatest stories and redemptions ever told.
Father's lightsaber. This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight.
Rejected and thrown away like garbage by the Redeemer. So as you can probably tell, I have some serious issues with Disney Star Wars. Almost to the point of apathy, but I do care about it enough to hate on it. It's kind of fun to watch people review and just shred the newer series. Like the Acolyte. I have had so much fun watching people just destroy the Acolyte. Anyway, back to lightsabers. So well, to some extent, I don't care about Star Wars anymore. I do have an issue when people seem to try to speak with authority, but are just clearly wrong. I just have to actually them. It's a compulsion. I can't help myself. I have a problem. In particular, all those people who try to defend the lack of fatalities by lightsaber impalement the only way they can, by pointing out the location.
You serious?
That's generally my response for a number of reasons, but we'll go about them slowly. While this is a real excuse in some cases, it is certainly not the case that this is getting used for. So while it is true that Qui-Gon Jinn, Reva, the Grand Inquisitor, Sabine Wren, Starkiller, Cal Kestis, and Kylo Ren have all been impaled with varying results, there is a clear reason why some of these characters are hated, why some of these characters are not. Let's start off with Cal Kestis, a beloved character in the Star Wars fan base. His big impalement by lightsaber is getting barely stabbed by Darth Vader. The thing is, I'm pretty sure that he could have recovered from this even without much medical attention, and assuming he was a normal human, but he's not. He's a Jedi, and the blade's barely touching him, so it's just not that deadly for even a normal person. Now, Starkiller's impalement and revival is probably the best depiction as to how these impalements should go, because he was stabbed and then thrown into the vacuum of space. However, he was also immediately recovered and underwent recovery for about 6 months.
You killed me!
No. I salvaged your body and brought you here to be rebuilt.
Let's also not forget that he already killed multiple Jedi Masters and even Jedi Council members. Wasn't Shakti in the Council? I'm pretty sure she was. So he's already incredibly strong, far more than anyone else in this video. He's the strongest. And you can kind of apply the same rules to Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren was supposedly very skilled in the Force. He got his butt walloped by a newbie in the first episode, but we'll just go with that fact he's supposed to be very strong. So he was stabbed and then received force healing immediately afterward. So while I think he should have died, I can buy him surviving this. However, I cannot accept the survival of Reva, who got stabbed as an adult and as a child. The Grand Inquisitor, who got stabbed by a Sith, and Sabine Wren, who we'll talk about that. So let's look at these against the one stab that did kill someone, Qui-Gon Jinn. It is true that the stab location is different and maybe survivable if this was a real sword. But this is not a real sword. This is a glowing flamethrower that's about an inch wide. Normal blades are incredibly thin. This is a quarter size and punched into your body. Location really not gonna have a whole lot to matter about that. Also, it's incredibly freaking hot. For reference, here's what it can do to metal.
Close the blast doors! That will hold them. This is impossible!
A lightsaber can turn metal molten on contact. Imagine what that would do to your flesh. Your blood would vaporize and your body would cook in seconds. Oh, lightsabers cauterize, right? You do know that cauterize is a synonym of sear, right? A cooking term. I mean, come on. Just look at some of the more glancing blows that Count Dooku landed on Obi-Wan. Two glancing blows basically took him entirely out of commission. A glancing blow took a soon-to-be member of the Jedi Council out. Hell, even a blaster bolt can kill someone with a gut shot. Han shot Greedo in the gut and killed him. That is that shot. Han shot first is him shooting Greedo in the gut. With a much smaller projectile, mind you. And he's not even human. Darth Maul got off incredibly easily because the attack was so fast and right below most vital organs. The blade's heat did not have time to propagate through his body, so unlike all these other characters who decided to leave their blades in their target for a few seconds, like Qui-Gon did to this door, man, just look at him go. What is happening to that door is what is happening to every person that gets impaled. So while Darth Maul did survive Obi-Wan making him half the man he once was, you also have to recall not only did Darth Maul take on a member of the Jedi Council and his apprentice at the same time, it also took him 10 years to fully recover, whereas Reva, the Grand Inquisitor, and Sabine were just fine a few hours later. Oh, a Bacta tank! That's not how that works. After his encounter with the Wampa, Luke spent 12 hours in a Bacta tank for what was comparatively a few scrapes and some cold damage. Nothing even close to impalement. Even Finn took a few days to recover from his encounter with Kylo. Yet again, not even impalement. And I would also like to remind you that Reva got stabbed in the torso as a youngling, then hid among the bodies of the dead, then snuck out. All without a Bacta tank, and as a youngling. So location doesn't matter, age doesn't matter. You would either cook to death or die from shock. Also, why do the Jedi just keep failing to kill people? Literally, the Force is generated by life. Another reason I don't like the fact that Luke and Leia overdose on the Force, but we'll get to that in a different video, I'm sure.
It's an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us, and penetrates us, it binds the galaxy together.
Life creates it, makes it grow. Its energy surrounds us and binds us.
Obi-Wan can feel the death of millions of people through the Force halfway across the galaxy.
I felt a great disturbance in the Force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced.
And Anakin, because Anakin and Darth Vader at this point, couldn't tell that Reva wasn't dead twice? Reva couldn't tell the Grand Inquisitor wasn't dead? Even if you can't tell, just make sure. Stab them, and then pull your lightsaber upwards through their face. Bisect them vertically. It's much easier, more effective than pulling out your lightsaber the long way. Or decapitate them. Jedi are quite good at that. Literally, half of the issues I have are not that they survived getting stabbed, but that any normal person would have made sure the opponent was dead. Okay, so as I'm editing this, the 5th episode of The Acolyte has come out. And while I haven't seen it myself, I've seen enough people review it to actually give credit where credit is due. So the showrunner of The Acolyte, Leslie Headland, former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein, she actually, at least I assume, that her version of the Sith actually knows how to kill people. And multiple times, things I mentioned in this video, he does. And you have no idea how therapeutic that was and how difficult this part right now is for me to actually say, because the last thing I want to do is actually compliment the former personal assistant of Harvey Weinstein. But she knows how to kill people and is well aware of the complaints that stabbing people and them not dying has been. So that you get one, Miss Leslie Headland, former Harvey Weinstein assistant. You get one. I'm pretty sure you're still in the massive negative because of the rest of the show, but get one. These are anti-common sense, and the victims who get stabbed just stand there most of the time. Sabine literally has her blade over her opponent, but doesn't bring it down until a few seconds later after the enemy draws out their lightsaber. Kill her, you useless Mandalorian. Reva stabs and holds her blade in the Grand Inquisitor for a total of 8 seconds. Not only is it the same amount of time that Qui-Gon held his saber in this metal door, but plenty of time for him to kill Reva. These are warriors, these are Siths, these are killers. Killing people is what they excel at. That's their thing. That's what they do. With 8 seconds, pull the lights around, and you're done. Woohoo! You both die. Series over. Instead, he decided to look constipated for 8 seconds. Grand my foot. If I am stabbed by someone or hurt and I think I'm going to die, I am taking them with me. It doesn't matter if I lose an arm or a leg, I'm going to die anyway. This little is going with me. They're going to die with me. It's called vengeance. And if a stab to the gut is known not to be fatal, why don't they just stab the chest? However, the main issue is that none of this debate should be happening in the first place. It's not the critics' fault that these scenes exist. Disney does not need to impale any of these characters. They just want a oh no moment. But because the oh no moment has been consistently used and proven not dangerous, it removes any tension. We all know that Reva is not going to die. She is the main character. We all know Sabine Wren is not going to die because she is the main character. Disney wants a moment without consequence. None of these characters, Cal, Kylo, Reva, the Grand Inquisitor, Sabine, really had any consequences from the stab. They should have suffered incredible loss. Loss of a leg, arm, eye, ear, finger. Those would all get the same moment without sacrificing the tension, because there has to be consequences for such deadly actions. We all know that Luke was not going to die from getting his hand sliced off. Even rewatching it. But that doesn't remove any tension. Even the fact he got his hand replaced. That physical glove, the black glove he wears, reminds us of that. It is a physical representation of the tension. Whereas none of these other characters, except Starkiller and Darth Maul, had that same effect. Starkiller got messed up. Darth Maul got messed up from their damage. That had purpose. It had a narrative purpose. It was important. It was tension filled because of that. They are pointless events that didn't need to happen. None of these events needed to happen for the story to progress. Whereas Starkiller, Obi-Wan stabs were far more relevant and understandable, and set off a chain reaction that literally changed the galaxy. Because of his impalement by Vader, Starkiller started the Rebel Alliance. His family crest is the Rebels' symbol. Qui-Gon Jinn's death led Obi-Wan to force the Jedi Council's hand and take Anakin as his apprentice.
Master Yoda, I gave Qui-Gon my word. I will train Anakin without the approval of the Council if I must.
Your apprentice, Skywalker, will be.
Darth Maul's impalement or bisection, while not as impactful as the other ones, led to him showing back up in the Clone Wars. And with a major storylines and plots connected to him. We're probably never going to see him in the live action again because Disney, but he has done so much stuff since that would not have happened if he had not been cut in half. It's a direct response. These other characters don't have that. Their story is unchanged. If an action is unreasonable, offers no narrative progression that could not be accomplished easier otherwise, breaks the immersion of the audience, constantly requires the audience to justify inconsistencies based on facts not established in the story, and undermines any past and future tension for similar events, it should not be done. It's simple as that. It does not matter if you can go back to biological data to justify these events. You should not have to. Storytellers should not make you justify their own lazy work. It's their job to entertain us, not our job to entertain them. Relying on your fans to do your legwork is such a scummy practice. And make no mistake, it is practice for Disney, not a one-off, a continuous and severe lapse in their judgment, and I don't think it's an actual lapse. I think it's fully intentional. That said, guys, just remember this. Just because a series is popular, makes a lot of money, does not mean it's good. Bye-bye.